Hey, welcome to Five Lakes Garage. Today, we're going to do some cooking. We're out of the garage, we're in our kitchen, and we're going to make something that all your kids are going to love. As you know, I'm part of Scouts, and one of the things we love to make out on the trail or out on camping would be some Dutch oven chili mac. So good. Okay, so this is the things that we're going to need. All right, so we're going to need some spices. So we have some sea salt, we have some chili powder, we have some cumin, and we have some paprika. Now, most of the time with the paprika, I always get like a smoked paprika, but sweet one, it'll work just okay. But if I had the choice, I'll get smoked. We're also going to need some ground beef, an onion, an array of measuring devices. We have all those spices. I just made it really quick into a little bucket. We're going to need some tomato paste, kidney beans, elbows, garlic, and this is actually beef broth. Now I kind of ran out of beef broth, didn't have quite enough because I needed about 1.5 cups, but we had chicken stock, and that'll work just as fine. So anyway, let's get started. All right, usually we're going to make this in the Dutch oven because we're out on the trail. I don't feel like getting the charcoal out, so today we're just going to use a regular pot. All right, first step we're going to do is actually cut our onion. We just got one onion, and people who don't like onions, don't worry, it almost dissolves because you're cooking it so long. So you peel it. All right, we're going to dice this up into small little pieces. All right, so some of you are probably wondering why I'm cutting it up this way. Well, I wanted to cut it up in two different ways. One, kind of the old-fashioned way. I'm going to show you a different one on that one. Makes it even easier. All right, so you have your half of an onion, right? So if you take it down and don't go all the way through, all the way to the other end, so that you are basically leaving like little fingers, but you're leaving it together at the end. So when you chop this, it stays together, and all your stuff is already chopped. It works great for hot dogs. I don't know about you, but I like raw onions on some hot dogs. And if my dad was here, he would say, no, it has to have sauerkraut. Ugh. All right, we're going to stick this in here. Okay, so we're going to cook this down on medium heat, just kind of glaze them over. We're going to soften them up before we put everything else in. Now, most recipes actually call for oil, but as Guy Fieri would say, I like to go down to Flavor Town, so I'm just going to put a little bit of butter in it. There we go. Let that cook down for a minute. All right, so we have our onion and a little bit of butter. It's actually sweating down pretty nicely. Well, you only need to do this for about 3 to 5 minutes. We're just getting things started. Because now, you need to put the rest of the stuff in. So we always like some grass-fed beef. This is just some regular ground. It's about a 93 mix. You can go with the fattier stuff if you like, but that's your choice. We go with that because we're trying to be a little bit healthy, even though I just did put butter in there. So what else we're going to do here is put about 2 cloves worth, which we use minced garlic, just because it's a lot easier and it lasts a lot longer. So that's about 2 cloves, right? Yeah. No, let's put a little bit more. I like garlic. All right, something else we need to put in here is tomato paste. So we need about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Yeah, that looks about right. I don't measure too much stuff. Always recycle your stuff. Clean it up first, then recycle it. All right, so while this is cooking down, we're going to put in our spices. Now this is about 2 tablespoons of chili powder, about 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of paprika, and If you want to add anything else in there to put a little bit more extra spice to it, a little bit of cayenne, so good, but my kids will not eat it. So we're just going to stick that in there as well. And we're going to stick that in there with the meat. There she goes. So basically just keep stirring this until the meat browns. Keep mixing it up. Now, one thing I definitely try to do when I go camping is have everything prepped. So I will have one piece of Tupperware. I like to use Pyrex. It's pretty durable. You can use plastic Tupperware or whichever. But once you get finished with making your stuff, you automatically have leftover trays. So I will put my onion and butter or oil in one container. I will put my meat, spices, garlic, tomato paste, and everything like that in another container, so that every stage you're just dumping in a container, and that's it. This particular aspect, we are going to be in our kitchen, so we're just going to cook it up. So we're going to let that be and tune back in once it's cooked. All right, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, one thing you're going to need is cheese. Now, you could use your pre-shred cheese, and it does okay, and it will work. I just really prefer shred my own. So you just grab yourself a regular shredder and then shred it up. Most recipes call for about a half a cup of cheese. We're going to do 2 cups of cheese because we love cheese in this house. That, and if you're out on a trail, extra cheese wouldn't hurt you. Okay, so the ground beef is browning up really nicely. It's time to add on to the rest of the ingredients. Let's go. All right, you can look at that. That looks good. It's got all the spices on there. It's got the onions in there, the garlic. All right, let's add the rest of the stuff. So one of the things we need to do is get some kidney beans. All right, so when dealing with kidney beans, there's one thing that we don't really like here in the house is all of that fluid, because it's just been sitting in there. So I usually drain it, hit a little bit of water. And some would say there's a lot of nutrition in the sauce because it comes out of the beans. But I'll get in trouble if I do that. Alrighty. There we go. Beans go in. Next comes the broth. Put that in there. We're going to let that simmer down. All right. Now, if you look at these boxes here, most of the time they're 16 ounces. This recipe only calls for 8 ounces of these, so only put half a box. But since we're on a stove, let's get the party started. Turn the heat up. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to just mix this up. Now, all that fluid that we just put in, all those noodles are actually going to soak it up. All right. So I'm going to let that go for a few minutes and put a lid on it. All right. Put a lid on it. All right, next thing you're going to need is a can of diced tomatoes. So we like our stuff chunky. And what that's going to do is actually give it a little bit more sauce because of the tomato. All right, so we're going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes or so. And then once it gets almost ready, we're going to taste the noodle. We want to get it just to be a little bit al dente. And then what we're going to do is put all this lovely shreds of cheese in there, as long as I don't eat it all first. So good. All right, so we've been simmering now for about 10 or so minutes. The noodles look pretty good. So now it's time to add the cheese. So we're just going to add all this. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. So lovely. So we're just going to stir that up until it's all melted. And then you can enjoy your chili mac. I don't know. I think it might need more cheese. But we'll figure that out. See? There you go. Chili mac. All right, hope you enjoyed having some chili mac tonight. Maybe we'll start a whole new series. If you guys like it, then we can cook some other stuff. Maybe we'll get the Dutch oven out and we can make some jambalaya, which is awesome. We can do some cherry dump cake, some cherry chocolate cake. There's cobblers. There's so many different things you can do with a Dutch oven. Or you can just do it on the stove like we did tonight. But we'll send it out. See what you guys think. Let me know. Put some comments. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So anyway, enjoy. Keep cooking. Work on cars. Work on your yard. Whatever you got to do. Don't let somebody else do it when you can do it yourself. Till next time. Have a good one.